All right, we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fourth and final segment, which is going to be about some news around the league. Just some stories I did want to talk about that maybe I can talk about for a full entire segment, but I think we're still important in the grand scheme of baseball and that I thought were interesting. So the first thing I want to talk about is the Atlanta Braves. Everyone loves the Braves, don't they? So with them, they optioned Bryce Elder and Huascar Ynoa to the minor leagues. So that is a assumption that they will not be starting the year on the MLB roster. Kind of a surprise to me, definitely. Bryce Elder was a guy who was an all-star last year, but didn't really perform well after that at all. But I still thought he could have been a valuable piece of depth in that, either as a swingman role or in the bullpen. Kind of the same with Huascar Ynoa, who had a great season a few years ago, but then broke his arm out of frustration after a bad pitching start, and then had Tommy John as well. So kind of bad luck, not really luck of the draw for him. So I thought he also could have been a valuable part of that bullpen and that pitching depth. So that was something I wanted to see. But I guess Braves thought otherwise as they are optioning them. They still have a lot of good pitchers, but I thought both Elder and Ynoa could have been valuable and could have been good pieces to that rotation or bullpen, but Braves thought otherwise. So it is interesting, and we'll see what happens with them over this year. Some Twins news now. Johan Duran, Caleb Diobar, and Anthony DeSclafani, they will all be starting the season on the injured list. Johan Duran, I think, is the biggest blow here. He is their certified closer, one of the best closers in the league, one of the coolest walk-ins in the league. All closers have a cool one, but his is definitely super, super cool. Definitely watch it if you can. You just look up Johan Duran introduction, I guess, something like that on YouTube. I think Duran, again, is the biggest blow here. He is their closer. He's the guy that kind of glues their bullpen together. And I think losing him for whatever amount of time it is going to hurt. I don't think it should be a huge amount of time. But in a division kind of as close as the AL Central with the Royals and Tigers and the Tigers lurking, I don't know how long the Twins can keep up with this and kind of lose him for a long time. So I think that's definitely something to watch here, and definitely something to see with the Twins and how it does affect them. Next, we have Caleb Diobar. This is a guy I also think is a big part of the Twins bullpen, but definitely is not a big part as Johan Duran is. This guy, he's a good lefty reliever, a guy who brings a lot of depth to that bullpen. It is a loss. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say it's not, but it definitely is. But at the same time, it's not a huge loss. You do have bullpen depth. Thank you for subscribing. Carlo Cardovo, I think it is. I cannot read your name from this far away, but thank you. Always appreciated. So Diobar isn't a huge loss, but again, it's not something you want to lose. You're not super excited that you lose him. I think that's the same thing with any pitcher. So still something that you don't want to happen this close to the season, but again, isn't a huge deal. The same with Anthony DeSclafani. A guy that isn't going to play a big part is more pitching depth. I don't think he's going to be a starter in that rotation unless something crazy happens. I think he's a valuable piece of depth coming over in the Jorge Polanco trade, kind of just for salary filler. But still not someone you want to lose, but again, not a huge deal. I think Johan Duran is the big one here, and I think they're going to have to figure out how to replace his time and replace who comes out of the bullpen for him. They added a guy in that aforementioned Polanco trade, Justin Topa, who I think is a really good reliever, and I think could be a guy that come out of the bullpen for him. So it's going to be interesting to see how they fill that hole. Gavin Stone has won the 5 spot in the Dodgers rotation. Kind of something that surprised me a little bit. I thought there were a lot of good other guys here to win it, like Emmett Sheehan, I thought had the inside track. But they really like Gavin Stone's stuff. He performed well in spring training, and he won it. So just good for him overall. They're probably going to be running a 6-man rotation for the start with Walker Buehler, with them taking Walker Buehler's rehab kind of slow. He's still going to pitch in the major leagues, but it might be every 6th or 7th day instead of every 5th because right now isn't the most important time for the Dodgers. The most important time for the Dodgers is the playoffs, because they're going to make the playoffs. We all know that, unless something catastrophic happens. And Buehler is going to be a part of that. So I think that's really what you want to look towards for your Dodgers fan. You're a member of the Dodgers organization. Right now isn't the most important time, and I do agree with what they're doing with Buehler, and I think it's a good idea. So that's what really opened a way for Gavin Stone to win a rotation spot. Again, I thought a guy like Emmett Sheehan had the inside track, maybe even a guy like Kyle Hurt, who I think is a really good prospect that's kind of underrated. But, I mean, good for Gavin Stone and him winning the spot. The Guardians, they optioned Kyle Manzardo to minor league camp, which I'm really unhappy about. If you've watched the show, you know I'm a big Kyle Manzardo fan. I think he's one of the premier hitting prospects in the league, really. This is a guy I think has really great power, can be a future all-star first baseman for the Guardians, can be a future 30 home run guy. I love the way they got him in the deadline for Aaron Savali, using that pitching depth to get a young hitter. I thought that's what they should have been doing a long time ago. I understand why they optioned him, because they kind of feel like this isn't their year. They're not really going to win much, and they want to manipulate his service time. But still, it's always more fun when you get a guy to start the year off in a major league team. Get him more adjusted to being a major leaguer right away. So, of course, not what you want, but it is their decision, and I'm unhappy about it, but nothing I can do. I think he is going to come up later in the season. I mean, I would expect that. I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to show that he's a big part of the future Guardians core that kind of needs some fixing right now, and that's a guy I'm definitely looking forward to watching him in the future, and definitely seeing what he can do and how he will perform. The Mariners, they released Cole Tucker. He signed a minor league contract with them to be more infield depth. I mean, they have some question marks there at third base with Josh Rojas kind of being the big guy there. Jorge Polanco's there as well, but I'm not sure what the infield configuration is going to look like. I think Cole Tucker, he just brings some nice depth to that team, to any team really, just some nice defensive depth. A guy you can call up in a pinch when someone's hurt, bring in an 8th or 9th inning to either be a pinch runner or to be a defensive substitution. So I think he could look to sign with another team here. It's, again, not a huge deal that the Mariners released him, but they did, and it's fine. Believe me, Cole Tucker just married Vanessa Hudgens, the famous actress. So I think he's doing fine on himself. Believe me, I don't think him getting released by the Mariners is top of his priority list right now. So good for him, and congratulations to him. I'll say that. Tommy Pham, he and the Pirates, according to Bob Nightingale, are working closer and closer to a deal. Pham and the Padres have been mentioned. I might have just said Pirates before. I meant Padres. If not, ignore that. The Padres have been mentioned a lot with Pham, as it just makes so much sense on paper for him to go back to San Diego. Obviously, he knows a lot about the organization there, him playing there for a few years. The Padres need outfield help. Pham needs a job. He doesn't have a contract offer, apparently. I don't really know if I believe that report, because he's too good of a player not to have a contract offer at this point. But I think he needs work, and I think the Padres provide a good opportunity for him to compete. Padres are clearly in position right now for a wild card spot after the addition of Dylan Cease. They're obviously trying to win because they did acquire Dylan Cease. So I think Pham will be a good fit there because they are trying to win. He brings an edge to that team that I think they need with some of the problems in the clubhouse they've had over the past few years. They need outfield help with them starting right now Jerks and Profar, which, I mean, you don't want to start Jerks and Profar. I'll tell you that in 2023. You also need some DH help, and I think Pham can help in that way as well. I just think overall they need more hitting depth, and I think Pham is a guy that helps that in a lot of ways. So I think him and the Padres make a lot of sense because he's used to that organization. He's used to playing there. He makes a ton of sense on paper, and he's obviously a guy that AJ Preller likes after trading for him and now wanting to re-sign him. Apparently the contract offer could be in the ballpark of $3 to $4 million, which I think is definitely a good bid for Tommy Pham. Yuri Perez has some elbow soreness and is going to a doctor to see what's up with him. Not great news for the Marlins, who already lost their ace, Sandy Alcantara, to start the year with Tommy John last year. He's going to be out all of this year, obviously. Yuri was kind of the guy that was going to step in and be the number 2 after Luzardo is going to be the ace now with Alcantara being hurt. So this is not good news for the Marlins. We always talk about how much pitching depth they have, but I think it's being tested right now. You have guys like Ryan Weathers, like A.J. Puck, you're going to rely on to be starters consistently for the first time really in their careers. So I think that's kind of the falling out of the Yuri Perez injury and what is going to happen with the Marlins and how they do perform this year. So definitely not good news for the Marlins and not something you want, but you just hope Yuri Perez can get better. An elbow injury, a serious one at this point in his career would be devastating because of how good he has looked, how much flash he has shown. So I'm really hoping for the best here because this is a guy I'm super high on in the future and really want to watch. So definitely got my fingers crossed that it's nothing too serious. Derek Crochet has been named the White Sox opening day starter. Kind of a surprise. I think they had a lot of other options, but after the trading of Dylan Cease, there was no real big option there for him, and I think Crochet has proved himself a lot in camp to be a starter and to be a really good one, as a matter of fact. So, good for him that he won the starting job. Again, they didn't really have a clear-cut opening day guy since they traded Cease, and I think Crochet, being a homegrown guy, being on the team for a little while, makes a lot of sense to be the opening day guy and start the season off for the White Sox. So I think it's a good move, and I'm honestly looking forward to seeing what Crochet can do this year and how he will perform as a starting pitcher. It's, I think, one of the big storylines going into the year for the White Sox. You don't have that many, simply put. So that's something I want to watch here and see with the White Sox. So that's the end of our show here today. Thank you so much for tuning in to the show, liking, subscribing, donating as well. All that. Make sure you keep up with the channel. On the network as well. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok for content and updates. Anywhere you can get content and updates is really good. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see what baseball throws at us tomorrow. So thanks. Bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet. Damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to